Alright, guys. We've got Solar in the top left side of the map for onside, the challenger against SERRAL. SERRAL did manage to best him in a very close match recently. But now we're going into a best of 5. That last one was a best of 3. This one is going to be the upper bracket round of 8, I think it is. So it's like an upper bracket quarter final best of 5 match. So the loser of this doesn't get eliminated. They just go down to the loser's side of the tournament where they will face elimination matches from then on out. But a lot of money on the line for winning the Masters Coliseum. And SERRAL in the bottom right has been cleaning up his act. You know, it's kind of funny. Why is SERRAL so good at ZvZ right now is the question I'm asking myself. And I think the reason is he's gone from being so good at timing attacks and mid-game to also looking kind of unstoppable in late game. And any time when players are trying to overwhelm him with just mass Roach, he just is defending. He's taking the best Roach fights. Roach v Roach, he's looking on another level. And I feel like SERRAL's starting to get that aura where I haven't really seen the players admit it yet. But I think pretty soon, and I think at Katowice, the other Zergs are going to be afraid to play a standard game against him. And that's going to be that aura of 2018 again, where players have to do sneaky Ling Floods, they have to sneaky rush Mutas, they need to do all these dirty things. They need to do all of this. The Lings are going to come in as well. Okay, so Lings just cross paths, third base goes down. Yeah, so I don't know if Solar's going to do that yet, but I really feel like the players need to make that change. Unless they can start getting the best of him in a Roach first Roach game. And it seems like SERRAL, while he's still mixing in some very fantastic timing attacks, the reason why he's hard to play against is that no matter what happens in the early game, if he's not too far behind in the mid game, it's very hard to get him out of there. What do you guys think happened here? Damn. A little meteor strike or something like that. Bit of a crater. SERRAL sees the Baneley Nest. I think Solar already saw his. Actually, Solar did not confirm the Baneley Nest, interestingly. SERRAL is a little bit down on Zerglings, so he builds 8 more Lings, try and get some defense up as the Ling speed kicks in. Now, I really love SERRAL's... he's always got 1 Scouting Zergling on 4, Zerglings on 1, and Banelings on 2. So you might be like, well, that's not a Baneling, that's a Zergling pig. Yeah, but look, it's separate, ready, at home, in a corner. So if he gets rushed, he morphs a Baneling in the corner, and it's very hard for the opponent to actually surround and kill that. So there's attention to detail that keeps SERRAL exceptionally safe. Now, if we look at Solar's control groups down here, we can see he's still got Natural on 5, Third on 6, taking a second gas and a Roach Horn, but it's all getting scouted by SERRAL. Meanwhile, Solar does not have much vision. He saw the Roach Horn start, but nothing else. He's got a Baneling on the other side of the map, but SERRAL snipes it down. Well done. 42 drones for Solar, 39 for SERRAL. SERRAL has 3 more about to pop. It's neck and neck. Both players showing a Roach Horn, but not willing to use it just yet. It's more of a, I can defend. If you decide to pump out Roaches, I can build my own to match you. But neither side wants to do that, unless it's a big surprise attack. That being said, no, Solar does blink twice. He builds 2 safety Roaches and starts a lair. He sees no lair for SERRAL. SERRAL coming in with 2 Zerglings of his own. Single Baneling morphing on the defense. And it looks like Solar is also going to go for an Evo Chamber. He's got a pretty wide choke point at the front. Bit of an odd wall off. SERRAL has a more traditional single choke point there for the Queen to walk into. Oh! Baneling's in the mineral line. Solar quickly pulls. Roaches are trying to hang on. But SERRAL will take out the Queen. Nicely played there by SERRAL. Gets himself a Queen kill. Single Roach goes down also. Doesn't lose many Zerglings and Banelings, so SERRAL's trading excellently. Solar's been ahead on the workers, though. Not by a lot, but just by a few drones here and there. They're kind of popping out a little bit earlier. And he does block SERRAL's scout. No, he doesn't. There we go. So SERRAL sees drones coming out, though, so I think he's pretty relaxed right now. His lair's not too far behind. I expect Overseer scouts to be coming in. And even though these Roaches moved across the map for Solar, they really didn't scare SERRAL at all because he could see that there was drones coming out behind it. Overlord speed is coming in for SERRAL. Solar's choosing to save on that and skip it. And actually, Solar's going for an all-in. Well, maybe not an all-in, sorry. That's a bad wording. He's definitely looking for a timing attack, stopping at 57 drones while SERRAL's going up to 70. Skipping the extraneous things. No 4th Queen for him. No Overlord speed. You know, this 4th hatchery that SERRAL's going for. Solar isn't doing that. Because, oh, look, he's hiding his roach count. He's showing a few roaches and things at the front. The other roaches are hiding in the back behind the natural. He doesn't want this overseer to see them, but the queens are letting him in. Oh, SERRAL's building a Hydra Den right now. He sees it. He sees the roaches. Let's go to SERRAL's camera, guys, and see how he reacts. Cancels his Hydra Den, builds a spine crawler. He realizes it's about surviving right now. And he's just massing roaches, making a Ravager. Oh, he's a little supply blocked right now. Not a good time to be supply blocked. He starts another spine crawler, realizing, uh-oh. The cancel on the 4th base is a good idea. He knows he's up on drones. He knows this is a pretty big roach army. He's just got to survive right now. That's his highest priority. I think he's well enough prepared. Roach speed and +1 aren't quite there for Solar. Solar could commit pre-+1. Neither of them has +1. I think it's the right time for Solar to commit. He kind of has to go now before those spine crawlers finish. The roaches do break through. Solar wasting a bit of time chasing that Ravager on the left side, though. That Ravager does get focused. The top players are so good at focusing Ravagers down lately. It's really impressive to watch. But SERRAL, with a great concave, holds on. Units lost tab close to even there. SERRAL's +1 about to finish. +2 has already started for Solar. Solar builds 10 more drones behind this, so he's going to catch up on the workers. And it's going to go back to an even roach game. Remember what I said? SERRAL's looking invincible with his roach game. And that's... Oh my god, I thought that was a GG for a second. Looks like the players had to pause and then resume. We are, of course, casting this from a replay, which is why that all instantly plays out as if it was instantaneous. Tunneling Claws is on the way. +2 range and Burrow on both sides. Yeah, the Burrow game... I know Raynor has been struggling in the Burrow game against SERRAL. Ooh, let's see if Solar can do any better. 4th hatchery gets cancelled. Nicely done there by Solar. Really well done. SERRAL's happy to fight, though. SERRAL is happy to push him back. Units lost tab, slightly in favor of SERRAL. 175 resource advantage. 4th base starts to build again. But that gives Solar a slight lead on the 4th, which is nice. Overlord speed goes down for him as well. I'm wondering when the drop will happen for SERRAL. There we go. No, that's an Overseer, actually. That's not a Drop-a-Lord. I think he just feels like right now he just needs to survive. But as time goes on, I do expect him to load up a Drop-a-Lord with 4 roaches and go harass the main base. SERRAL's got the Overlords. You might wonder, why are they on patrol paths? That way it's hard for your opponent to time out a Corrosive Bile. Solar technically could observe this and go, okay, here, right now, and then land it, but it takes a lot more attention. Players are busy looking around the map, and it's not really worth the attention just to try to snipe an Overlord here or there. You can make it even harder for them by doing a 3-point patrol path. Oh, SERRAL defending the high ground. Does eat a few biles. 2 of his roaches fall. Tunneling Claw roaches on the right side. Overseer's morphing. Tunneling Claw roaches on the right side going into the natural. He splits his roaches. He walls him off with an Evo. He didn't have the detection, but he saw it. He realized what was happening. I think with the Overlord seeing the dust getting kicked up by those roaches. Nice defense by SERRAL. The Evo cancels, and he shuts down those roaches as they try to come in. Great defense for the Finnish player. I don't know. It might have been not the dust. He may have noticed the claws pop out on the back of these roaches and then instantly said, oh, I know what's happening. Split some roaches back. Evo Wolf Overseer. I'd have to ask him to know which one he saw. It's probably more likely he saw the tunneling claws than the dust, since he was looking at the fight at the front at that time. But SERRAL with his own giant roach counterattack now. He says, tunneling claws is for losers. I just run in above ground. No F's given. Both players are trying to transition to infestation bit for that hive. They want the Viper and the Lurkers, but right now the roaches run in, snipe the 4th, and run away. More tunneling claw roaches coming in, but there's an Overseer on defense here that will spot them. Massive attack on the front for SERRAL. He pokes in. Baneling does get sniped there. And it is just mass roach against mass roach. It's all about the efficiency here. SERRAL a little slow to gather that Overseer and bring it back, but hey, better late than never. His roaches need to move up into his main base, though. He's got to be careful. Roach Ravager on the front. SERRAL's so good at defending this area. Solar! Ooh, Solar eats some big biles. Nice spready on the roaches. Can he finally find some damage? The answer is it's going to be tough because SERRAL has split his units up well. Solar's still posturing the front, but SERRAL manages the concave, and he's going to clean up that main base. When the main is done, he will return to the natural, no doubt, and clean those roaches up as well. Units lost tab, 2,000 resource. This is what I'm talking about. No one can match SERRAL's handling of 3 and 4 base roach wars better than him. Every single time someone tries to play Tunneling Claw game with SERRAL, he gets thousands of resources ahead even though you're in a similar situation. It is insane how consistent SERRAL is in the Roach game right now. It's always these situations where players kind of stress out and take very opportunistic dives, and they go a bit crazy sometimes and start taking bad fights. SERRAL's the kind of guy who somehow just keeps on being efficient no matter what else is happening, no matter the pressure on his shoulders, and he recognized this is a smaller army for Solar. He's going to shove down that left side right now, pushing in decisively, gets on top of the Roach Ravager, dives on top. The Roaches and the Ravagers getting gunned down, and look at that, the rest of the Roaches trying to come around, but by the time they get there, SERRAL's already collapsed on the right side, crushing that entire flank, and then he just pulls right. Why? Because his reinforcements can hit the left. He's pulling the army out of position right now. The rest of his units dive on that left side. He can just click the hatchery if he doesn't want to fight the spine. He goes back in on the right, and he's jumping on the reinforcements on the left at the same time. SERRAL taking some excellent engagements, both sides in a very similar position in terms of economy. But Solar has just been destroyed in the Roach vs. Roach game. 5,000 resource difference. In a mirror matchup with the exact same army and economy? What the hell, SERRAL? A fair Roach game against SERRAL, not something Solar will want after the way that first game went. I wouldn't be surprised to see some sneaky Mutalisks this time around. SERRAL on the bottom left side of the map. SERRAL's very prone to mixing timing attacks in. Despite being unstoppable in those kind of macro game, straight up situations, he's still got very nasty timing attacks that he does. So I'm curious to see if he shows us any of those today. SERRAL eats roaches for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, says Twitch chat. The response, guess he's already prepared for Fallout then. Nothing like a roach burger. Yum, yum, yum. Solar's going to go for the gold base. Gamble, gamble. SERRAL, he loves just taking his own normal expansion on these sorts of maps. Now, there's two options. SERRAL goes very aggressive, or Solar goes very aggressive off it. You're very rarely going to have both of you macroing. That gold base is so exposed out there that usually the gold base player actually plans to go aggressive off it to try and keep the base safe through offense. The best defense when you're this spread out is a good offense. And I have seen SERRAL basically just play a completely standard macro game, take his third base and just macro against the gold base, ignoring it and relying on the opponents feeling uncomfortable with that gold base, feeling like they have to attack to actually lend him advantages. Now he's going to send 7 drones, 8 drones straight to the gold. He wants that payoff. He wants that juicy income right now, does Solar. Two queens on the way for SERRAL. About a second or two early. Solar's build, could argue, I think it's okay. Obviously, the gold base being all the way out here, he has a huge dip in his income. SERRAL mining 450 resources more than him for a moment. You're going to see Solar's income will take over when we check in on that in a minute. Link speed on the way at a very similar timing. SERRAL's ahead about 2 seconds. And, of course, SERRAL finds out about the lack of an expansion. He knows it's a gold base. I don't think he'll be particularly surprised. And it's the DRG build. Roach Horn goes down. Problem, if you show your Roach Horn at that base, it kind of announces what you're doing. This is the build DRG used in GSL last season, and it didn't work. It looked cool, and I think it looks very promising as a ladder build. I don't know if this will surprise SERRAL, but SERRAL still hasn't seen the Roach Horn. Oh, his Overlord's going to potentially go down. That would suck. Where are the Zerglings, guys? Just on the watchtower, just chilling. Solar's gone to 24 workers, and that's where he's going to stop, guys. That's all the income he's going to have for this game. The Zerglings come in just to try to, of course, stop the Queen from killing the Overlord. The moment she turns to fight, they run away. They did their job distracting her. Lingbane is on the way. You can surround the Roach Zergling with just mass Lingbane. It's possible. SERRAL going aggressive. 22 drones against 24. This turns into a defensive build now for Solar. It was an all-in for him, but now it turns into a defensive build because SERRAL's not taking a third. He's just making roaches and a spine crawler, but can he defend the main as well? Get those roaches back to the ramp, mate. Oh god, he's trying to meet him in the open. Brave. Solar trying to meet him in the open without banelings of his own. That is ambitious. The banelings are a little further behind. But as those banelings come forward, if your roaches get surrounded by the lings, the banelings of SERRAL chase your zerglings away. What can you do? I think Solar needs to send his zerglings to counterattack, and he needs to pull roaches back to the ramp there, and roaches here. And he needs to kind of turtle in two separate positions. He's trying to do that now. You can see lings are going south. Oh, banelings roll in from the right. They get 3 drones. Not too impactful. Solar still has the gold base. He's mining more than SERRAL, even while being down 2 drones. The roachling on the right side trying to defend. Uh-oh. Oh, no, he's getting surrounded. This is what I was talking about. If the lings get a full surround, your zerglings can't really do too much because the banelings can get big hits on those. Oh, the lings around for SERRAL. If he can get rid of all these roaches, that is massive. And indeed, he does. That was an excellent trade. Roaches are really good in large numbers against zerglings, but in small numbers, the zergling surrounds, their damage output is insane. SERRAL punishes the gold base just with a super committed, knows it's a gold, cuts at 22 drones, doesn't even build a third, and just goes all in. Already into game 3. It's a bad start to this series for Solar in the top left. The gold base gamble doesn't pay off. And a very quick game 2. SERRAL on the bottom right of site, Delta. Both sides building a 13 Overlord. Looks like a 16 hatchery build for both sides. Solar's also a pro player. Why does this look so easy for SERRAL? SERRAL's the greatest player of all time. And he seems to have Solar's number so far today, but don't count Solar out yet. While SERRAL classically has been the better player, Solar did destroy SERRAL 5 or 6-0 in maps. A few tournaments in a row earlier this year. Or in the middle of last year, I should say. But that last game, Solar took a big gamble going for that gold base. A big gamble. And essentially, I do think if he pulled back to the ramp in the main and just walled off with roaches on both base, I think he could have done really well. He could have potentially made a baneling nest of his own as well behind that while trying to buy time. But I think moving into the open is the wrong call. I just think Roachling will never beat Ling Bane if you both stopped it. It's pretty similar workers. Like the Ling Bane numbers at that stage, they're always going to beat you until you either add your own banelings or you get a lot more units out. And like we said, Solar's zerglings weren't useful. He needed to counterattack with his zerglings, force more Ling Bane to be allocated at home. But in a frontal fight, there's 5 banelings. You could have 50 zerglings. They're just not going to be able to engage. They can't really do anything. And that's a very big problem. So that's essentially what Solar encountered there. Was he made a technically incorrect decision. It's very understandable that he wanted to try to fight together and you know, thought he could maybe barely focus the Banes down with the roaches and the lings could help kill the lings, but didn't work out that way. If he just went for a baneling nest of his own, he would have been more able to fight out in the open, having his own mobile army up. SERRAL's slightly behind on the drones, on the queens this time around. Ling speed starts up at identical timings. 2 workers on gas for each side, as they both pull one off to go mine minerals. Yeah, identical build orders this time around. 2 lings for both sides will venture onto the map. This is a medium-sized map. I don't think it's too crazy big. There are some wide openings and that sort of stuff, but I wouldn't be surprised to see a pretty straightforward game. We could see SERRAL maybe go for like a big Ling Bane pressure again, just as I am up 2-0. Let's see if I can... Maybe Solar's a little thrown off by how this series has started. Maybe I can just kill him. It's not particularly like SERRAL to do just a straight up, you know, say 30 Zerglings and a few Baneling pressure, but both sides are going Baneling Nest, so that is the kind of standard pressure that you can do off of a third hatchery, which they both have. Now, these unbuildable rocks, a lot of people ask about these. These are placed so that you can't just run up and build 2 bunkers or 2 pylons or whatever on the bottom of the ramp to wall people in, because otherwise there's no way to break out if you don't have early ranged units like Zerg, for instance. So those unbuildable plates are literally just because early StarCraft 2 was so filled with people just sneaking 2 workers in and walling you inside your main base that it felt very oppressive and frustrating to play. So they solved that just by having it, hey, any ladder map needs the unbuildable rocks there. SERRAL in for the first scout. There is a roach warren going down. SERRAL did not see that roach warren. It was just after the Zergling ran into the base, he built the roach warren, so that's kind of cute. Hiding it right in front of your opponent. Rotoran and second gas goes down for SERRAL as well. Solar's building 3 Overlords. Solar's going for it. Solar is going for it. It's a timing attack. Solar's specialty has always been timing attacks. And 4 Overlords building. So he's going to put on gas now. He has kind of delayed that a little bit, but that's okay. He's going to go Roachbane all in. So as these Overlords pop, the lava injects come out. He's on 2 queens with a third one building. This queen did push the Overlord back a little bit. He has to deny SERRAL scouting. SERRAL desperately wants that information. Unable to get it. 9 roaches are on the way. SERRAL right now on 41 drones against 38. If he starts building roaches here, he's very safe, and he does. SERRAL senses something's up. If he sees no drones on this third base, that's a bit of a tell. And indeed, 4 drones. SERRAL's like, I have 9 drones on my third. Oh god, I gotta build army right now. I gotta make army, man. You know, it's funny because actually, oh, you know what? SERRAL was planning his own roach push. He fake transferred to his third. That's why he has so many drones on his third. SERRAL was planning his own roach baneling attack, but it was slightly later, which is really good because now Solar doesn't know that he's running into a trap. SERRAL was planning the same strategy. He was just going to hit a little bit later with a few more units. And that hard counters Solar's strategy. Solar not scouting enough to realize this. Oh no! SERRAL with a perfect Roach Concave. His Banelings ready to clean up the Zergling rally as well. Look at the Baneling micro. SERRAL keeps his Banelings alive, which means the Zerglings are not able to collapse. As long as those Zerglings can't join the fight, that is a massive problem for Solar. He focuses down the last Baneling. By then, all of his roaches are dead. Absolutely wrecked. The Lings are going to try to run in. The Queen is going to plug that gap in the wall. Oh, no. And Solar's so committed. He's like, I'm just going to build round 2. He's like, I'm so far behind. I have to do the biggest gamble. Just don't make a single drone. Keep making roaches. Keep making Lings. And maybe SERRAL doesn't realize. Maybe SERRAL, gets confused and builds 66 drones and dies to the next wave. But of course it's SERRAL. He's not going to do that. Comes in with the Lings. Sees a lot of units at home. Solar has to try to hide these. The roaches do block that Zergling scout in the south. Ling run by trying to keep SERRAL busy. SERRAL's Zerglings looking to scout into that third. He sees a roach popping out. He knows that round 2 is coming. And guess what, guys? SERRAL didn't build a single drone. SERRAL has 69 army supply, 75 army supply, a 16 army supply lead, not to mention Defender's Advantage. Defender's Advantage means you're fighting next to your production, so you'll have army joining the fight much quicker than your opponent in the middle of it. You also get the advantage of setting up a nice defensive position. Oh, this is just way too much. Solar is done. Ling counterattack wrecks his rally at the same time. Baneling intercepts all the Zerglings on the ramp. Everything going wrong, and Solar getting absolutely devastated in a mirror matchup. SERRAL angry about getting 3-0'd by Solar at Gamers 8 earlier in 2023. He comes back with a vengeance and gets the 3-0.